success. And if this is your first time joining us, whether you're listening to the podcast or you're watching this, whether live on social media or on YouTube, I am Gloria Grace, spiritual business coach, helping entrepreneurs leverage their intuition to break through revenue ceilings and achieve sustainable business growth. And today, I really, like, as I said, I just said I wanted to be able to share with you to talk about the importance of fueling our bodies when it comes to being able to grow our business, because the two really are inextricably linked. I believe that's the right word I'm looking for. Intricately linked. That's another good word. It makes a difference in how the food that we put into our bodies, it really helps us in so many different ways. And I've learned this personally. I've experienced this personally, in particular over the last couple of months, because I have not been fueling my body very well. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about this subject, because over the last 10 days or so, I changed my diet and got rid of eating the junk food and the sugar and the processed foods and all of my comfort foods. And that's one of the things that I have had a lifetime of. I don't want to use the word struggle, but it has been a lifetime issue. Yeah, let's go with that word. It's been an issue in my life, in that because of the way that I grew up, and also, God rest her soul, my wonderful mother, she also set an example for me that wasn't necessarily the best one, because I modeled her relationship to food in a lot of ways as well growing up. So there's been a variety of reasons, and I'm gonna touch on that in a little bit, but what I found myself doing was slipping back over the last few months into old habits that don't serve me. And it's easy to do this, to slip back into habits, I believe, because it's comforting. And I'm gonna say this different from comfort food, but it's comfortable. I'm sure you've all heard the expression that growth happens outside of your comfort zone. Exactly. Well, the reason we are in those comfort zones is because they are comfortable. It's a way of making us feel safe and secure. And so when I have in the past, and as most recently as 2 weeks ago, got back into this old comfort zone of doing things that I would do as a kid, which was finding comfort in foods that were not necessarily, they taste good in the moment. Let's say that. They taste good in the moment, but the long-term ramifications of it were not good for my body. And if you are a regular subscriber to my YouTube channel in particular, Gloria Grace Rand, you may have noticed that I've gotten heavier in the face over the last few months, and that's because I have put on quite a bit of weight. And it's gotten to the point where I've been really going back and forth over the last couple of months, because I would wondering, what is going on? Why am I doing this? And it was very frustrating. So I started doing some journaling about it and looking at what was it that was causing me to go back into these old habits. And I came up with about three good reasons over the I would say about 2 months finally of things that were triggering me. And I decided that, okay, well, now that I know what it is, I don't have to stay there. I can choose different tactics. I can decide that I'm not going to eat cookies. I'm not going to eat popcorn. I'm not going to eat ice cream anymore. I'm going to go to the grocery store and buy a lot of vegetables and fruits, good fruits, especially berries. Lately, strawberries, organic strawberries have been on sale. Buy one, get one free. Oh, they're so good, so yummy. And as I started making this switch to cutting out all of that processed food and the sugar in particular, amazing things started to happen. I started feeling not only better physically, but more importantly, I started feeling better mentally. And how this relates to business, now I'm going to get back to how does this relate to my business? I started being more productive. Ideas started coming to me again. I had been having I was having trouble just coming up with ideas for this podcast, what episodes to do, and I even over the last couple of months actually skipped a couple episodes, and I didn't even go live on social media a couple times as well because I wasn't ready. I was stuck. I couldn't think of what to do, and then it got to be too late to promote it. But in this last 10 days or so that I've been eating better, I'm getting a lot more done, and as I say, ideas are coming to me. I'm just so much more productive. It is amazing. And I'm feeling better as well. I'm because of that. So it's like physically feeling better, mentally feeling better, and I was doing some research about this too because I just wanted to be able to tell you it's not just this is my experience, and other people have gone through similar things too. And I found there was a study that was in the British Journal of Health Psychology, and they found that the more fruits and vegetables people consumed, up to 7 portions a day, the happier, more engaged, and more creative they tended to be. And they said it's because fruits and vegetables contain vital nutrients that foster the production of dopamine, that neurotransmitter that plays a key role in the experience of curiosity, motivation, and engagement. And they also provide antioxidants that minimize bodily inflammation, improve memory, and enhance mood. So, all of these things have been this is part of I believe why I've just been much more productive. I've been much more happier also. I really have been in a good mood. I'm taking time now. I'm reading an excellent book right now, and I'm spending time during the day in the afternoon instead of heading to the dollar store and buying a bag of popcorn and then coming back and watching something on Hulu. And so basically taking like an extra lunch break, an afternoon break in the afternoon and wasting about 45 minutes or so, really actually wasting a whole hour, frankly, taking time to go to the store to get stuff and come back and eat it. Now I'm using that time to work on my podcast, to create social media posts, to read a book, to read a good book. I'm reading something about Gaia right now, Gaia consciousness, or I forget the name of it, but it's a really interesting book. And I'm also meditating in the afternoon. I'm taking a break in the afternoon. Instead of, again, doing a food break, I'm doing a mindful break instead. I'm taking time to meditate for at least a half an hour. And all of these things are just giving me so much more energy and so much I'm getting more done. And the other thing that I'm doing that's helping me along this path, because I will say that I've done this before many times in my life where I've started a healthy regime and I might do it well for a while, but then for whatever reason, I get off the track. So one thing that I'm doing right now is I am journaling every day in the morning, and I'm reviewing in my mind and writing down what the previous day was like. I'm writing down what I ate, writing down what I got done, just sort of keeping track of my progress. And I think that no, I don't even think. I know that this is what has, number 1, helping me to keep going because I have done over the last few months, I would go maybe a couple of days and I would eat well for a while and then I would just say, "Ah, screw it," and go back and start eating something junk food again. But this time because I'm being mindful about it, specifically being mindful and really paying attention to it, that it is keeping me accountable. It's keeping me accountable to myself because I'm seeing it, I'm writing it in a journal and noting what I'm doing, and so that I'm able to be aware of what I'm thinking, what I'm doing, what I'm putting into my mouth. And I will tell you that there are still some days that things don't always go the way I want them to go. And in particular, I'm going to share with you is that yesterday I was feeling hungry. I was hungry, and first it was physical hunger, and I'm really doing my best to pay attention to my body and to listen for, or not listen, but to be aware when the body is really saying, your stomach starts grumbling and you feel that, oh, yeah, I'm hungry. I need to feed it some food right now. So that was one thing that I was doing. But yesterday, it was, I wasn't feeling it. I was feeling like I just wanted to go back into eating past when I was hungry. I wanted to just keep putting food in my body for whatever reason. And so I was very tempted, wanting to go to the store, wanting to go get something, and I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. We're not gonna do this. You've got food in the house to eat." And one thing that I made was this, I've got a years ago, I used to be on a vegetarian kick, and I've got this wonderful cookbook from the Moosewood community, and there's a recipe in there for African pineapple peanut stew, and I actually, instead of using peanut butter, I swapped in, almond butter and used that instead. So I did that, and then I realized that I had made enough for, like, about 4 servings, and I had some, like, 2 nights ago, and then yesterday, I just wound up deciding to I just a coup every couple hours, I just had some more of it until eventually I just ate the whole thing and finished it all up. And one of the reasons I ultimately decided to do that is for some reason, I think the pineapple in there was really triggering me like a sugar response and creating cravings in me that I wanted to just continue to eat more and more. So I decided that it would be better off for me to just go ahead and eat it, to just eat it and finish it. And that's all, just to get rid of it, just get it out of the house. And I also had a lot of strawberries yesterday because they were starting to go bad. So I wanted to eat them up before they totally went bad. And I got through the day. And even though I know I indulged too much, I indulged in healthy food. And in fact, this stew, the recipe calls for you to serve it over rice. I served it over riced cauliflower. So I was having some extra vegetables with it. And today, I've already planned out what I'm going to eat today. I'm going to make a frittata with some vegetables. I'm going to have a salad for dinner. So I know that today I'm backing off. And that's the important thing is to continue to be kind to yourself as you go through this journey. If you are someone who does indulge in emotional eating, you do have to get to a point where you've got to decide, what do I want to do? How do I want to proceed? And then make the commitment to do that and use whatever tools are available to help you, whether it's journaling, like I'm finding, maybe it's you get an accountability partner to help you with it, to keep you focused on your goals. And then also give yourself the grace to know there's going to be days where you may not feel like being 100% there. And what I'm going to advise you to do is do like I did, is to make sure you've got some kind of healthy food in the house that you can indulge in that rather than indulging in things that don't serve you as well. And you also need to figure out what works best for you. There are, oh my gosh, I think the diet industry is probably $1 billion industry. There's all kinds of ways, and there's all sorts of contradictory ways to eat. The keto diet, the paleo diet, the Atkins diet, the low fat diet, whatever. It gets so confusing and overwhelming. And then there's intermittent fasting and things like that. So you've got to figure out what's best for you. And as someone who has had this lifelong relationship with food that has been tumultuous, shall we say, it hasn't always been a friendly relationship, even. I have tried every single diet just about that there is out there. And I've found what works for me. And what I've really come to the conclusion of for me is that wheat, corn, in particular, like popcorn, and sugar, those really refined sugar in particular. Honey is okay, but refined sugar, that stuff is like a drug to me. And which is interesting too, because I come from my family. My dad was an alcoholic. My mom used food as her drug of choice. And I remember she went to Weight Watchers for a while, was very successful with that for a while. But she was also one who would be up and down with her weight over the years, depending on how she was feeling. And she even went to Overeaters Anonymous. And in fact, I even looked into that a couple weeks ago as well. I'm thinking maybe that would be something that might help me. And then I did some more soul searching about what was going on with me. And I realized there were a couple things that I was avoiding, things that were just coming up for me. So I decided that I'm okay. I don't need to go that route for the moment, but I am going to journal. And that's what I decided would make the biggest difference. So I hope that's helpful for you today. Is like I said, I think the main point I want to share with you is that eating smart really does help you to work smart, as the title of this episode is today. And for us to be entrepreneurs, for us to be successful in our business and in our life, we've got to treat our bodies well. We need to feed it nourishing food that is going to help keep our brains working as well as our bodies. And when we do that, then things are going to go a lot smoother in our business. So that's my story for today. And I realized that for some reason, even though I guess I've been so preoccupied with a couple other projects today, that I forgot to find an appropriate daily word message that goes along with this. So I've just decided to share with you today's daily word. And I think it still is a good one because it deals with, the word is imagine. And this is from July 19th, 2023. So I'm going to go ahead and share this one with you today. And the affirmation is, my imagination leads to manifestation. And it says, I may have said the words I imagine for years without fully understanding the extent of their creative power. Imagination is an essential step in creation. It is the spiritual gift I use to give shape to the divine ideas I claim in prayer, to bring more prosperity, peace, or healing into my life. As I imagine, I picture how I will use these divine ideas after they manifest. Perhaps I am in conflict with someone. In prayer, I can imagine harmony restored. If I am experiencing lack, I can imagine sufficient abundance to meet my needs. If a healing need arises, I can imagine myself restored to health and vitality. Now, when I imagine, I am aware of my immense creative power and use it mindfully. And then there's a scripture reading. This is from Genesis 13:15. For all the land that you see, I will give to you. So I think this is actually relates a bit to what I've been talking about, because we can imagine that we are in perfect health, that we are choosing the appropriate foods to eat. And then if we set that in mind and we picture that and we visualize, it's so easy. And why is it so easy for me to choose healthy foods to eat? Why is it so easy for me to be productive in my business? And I'm phrasing it this way because I just had a podcast go with Noah St. John, who talked about affirmations, which is about helping your brain to form the solution to these problems or challenges that you have. So imagining that, getting it, creating what you want, whether it is health, whether it is success in your business, whether it is good relationships, using that imagination, forming the questions, and then using your imagination to visualize what you want the outcome to be, is truly going to lead to manifestation. All right. I think today we're going to just wrap up, as I like to do on these solo episodes, by sharing with you a light language message. And for those of you who may be new to the broadcast and you have no clue what light language is, I do have an old episode where I explain it, but I'll give you the short version right now. Light language is a channeled communication from higher realms. And the way that I do it, it comes out as either spoken or in song. And it's something that your brain may not necessarily be able to translate, but it doesn't matter, because the message is really meant for your soul, for your heart and your soul and your spirit. And whenever I share these, I always set an intention that the message that you receive is going to be for your soul's highest good. And I invite you to set the intention today, whether it is needing some support in your business, whether it's needing some support with your health, that what you hear today will go towards that, will support you. And if you are listening to this podcast when you are perhaps driving a car or you're multitasking, which I don't recommend, I would encourage you to pause this and come back to it later when you have an opportunity to really be able to stop and focus and listen with an open heart and an open mind, and allow the sounds that come through to speak to your soul. So I'm going to back away a little bit from the microphone, because when spirit comes through, it's quite powerful. So, all right. Okeana canta sinyoka, anyo ko useko. Okaya ko sinakaye, okaso kaya taye, oshinya kaya, oyano. Akoshin no korea. Anna crean crean tu shumaka, hekaniano ko panna kiata, he sanyo ko hakiata, sakuyo no kuha, hekayo tohu, okoshiano kue, hekayo, aoneko hu, soyo kohu, Esoyo tu shaneka, hekaya toyasi, のこしあのこは、姉のこぷかよのくわで、へかよとあしがこふ、ほんよくせかしょとこ、あにゃのくやしよ、へかよとしや、へしょしょのこやぱな、へこしょのこやとか、へそこやとく、へかよそよ。I hope you did receive that with all the love that it was intended. And if you ever would like to explore a deeper understanding of light language with me, I encourage you to reach out. You can go to engagewithgloria.com and schedule a call if you want to. You might even be interested in doing private sessions with me because I also do private light language with clients, and that is an opportunity for you to be able to focus on a particular issue. So that is, tailored for you. And so that's where I can do that as well. So I encourage you to reach out to me. I would love to talk with you. And that's going to do it for this edition of Live, Love, Engage. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening and watching. And I encourage you to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Make sure you're also, if you're watching on YouTube, subscribe to @Gloria Grace Rand and ring that bell so that you can be notified when a new episode comes out. And until next time, as always, I encourage you to go out and live fully, love deeply, and engage authentically.